Madam Deputy Speaker. And in following the Honourable Member for North West Lancashire, I do want to say I think he and I could probably agree that there shouldn't be all doom about the future, and that the protesters that are trying to tell our children that it's all going to be awful should pipe down and look to some of the things that we are achieving in this country, and also technology. But what I would say to him respectfully is not to meet doom with doom, because we won't get anywhere. And I will.
That the Just Stop Oil protesters are paid up to £500 a day by their sponsors to take part so vigorously in these protests. It's good money if you can get it.
I was not aware of that, but what I do say to anyone I meet, and what I do say to school children when I go into schools, is do not lie down in the road, do not glue yourself to stuff, and do not get arrested. Go and do your maths, do your science, and you will be the champions of the future. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, to the Stroud constituency, it is so packed with innovation and technology businesses I could literally talk all day, and I have chewed the Minister's ear off about my hydrogen ICE combustion engine campaign, so I will leave that for the moment. But I'm going to constrain my comments to two areas that are affecting my constituents and two of my projects. The first is the Severn Edge nuclear site at Berkeley. The Western Gateway are doing an awful lot of work on that. And the second is radiator sludge, which I've already mentioned and I will expand on soon. Now, nuclear. Don't understand why it isn't completely popular across absolutely everybody. It is a zero-emission, clean energy source that the environmentalists, as far as I'm concerned, should be entirely pro. And the Severn Edge project, Berkeley Green, is a decommissioned nuclear site with a very long history in the Stroud and Gloucestershire area, because then it means that when I'm knocking on doors every week, I get to meet nuclear scientists all the time, some retired, but it certainly means that we've got a lot of real fertile ground for the future generations of nuclear scientists, and things like the Cotswold Canal Trust, which is packed full of volunteers, is actually stocked full of nuclear scientists sorting out the engineering. And I give credit to the board at Berkeley. John Stanton is a good friend of mine now, and he keeps me up to date with what's going on. But unfortunately, the Severn Edge gang, we lost out on the fusion bid. I think it was wrong. It was a wrong decision. I'm very happy for Nottinghamshire, but I think that UKAEA did a phenomenal job, and so did we. We showed a cross-party group of politicians. We had the Gloucestershire County Council leader, Mark Hawthorne, absolutely excellent on this, South Gloucestershire County Council, the district councils, and we now want a small modular reactor. So if the Minister can give me a little bit of a nod about how nuclear is moving, I'm going to get the band back together, because I think that when we are showing what Berkeley and Oldbury can do, it's a really exciting prospect for the country. And the Western Gateway just has not rested. They've generated some significant interest in the Severn Edge sites after the conclusion of the step fusion process. They're evidently a very attractive sites, and they're also ready to go with infrastructure and supply chains. And because the UKAEA did such a phenomenally thorough job on fusion, my sites have been literally investigated up the wazoo. So there is nothing that we do not know about them. So for any international and domestic interest in investors, we can give some really sort of key information. So what I want to see from government is that the government investment in accelerating the clarity and regulatory approaches for the Great British Nuclear, it's forthcoming because it's just so critical. The international investors that we speak to, they're presenting as funded and ready to go, but they understandably need surety for the route through regulation. Down at Berkeley, we've also got the University Technical College. I had the students up today, some young women who are in STEM. Again, they're raring to go, and they want apprenticeships. They want to be working. And the Western Gateway is ready to support the UK government in live discussions with investors, live discussions about policy, because we can play a major role. And one of the greatest things the Gateway did, and what we all did in our fusion project, we brought the Southwest together, but we also brought Wales in as well. So it's a cross-country project here. So if I just may to run through a few of the selling points because I decided that we could use the Hansard record of this speech as something that we can send out about Berkeley and Severn Edge. So, as I said, the sites are ready to go and flexible with partnership of landowners and local authorities in support of the development. We've got access to skills and specialist workforce with a complementary industry and supply chain opportunities. We've got Hinkley Power Plant, Barnwood, world-leading strengths, advanced manufacturing, robotics, cyber. We've also got a brilliant company called Vulcane in my patch in Stroud. Now, they basically place people in the nuclear industry, so they know where all the people and the jobs are. Our sites are well connected with motorway connections. The Gloucestershire services on the M5, one of the best services in the country. It's a very good place for coffee. And we have a real understanding and supportive community, partly because of the history of nuclear, as I mentioned, but also because we did a lot of work with the consultation for fusion. So we know that local people and children are really interested in this work. Working with the Western Gateway teams, I will, as I said, really happily help them lead. There's a number of MPs that have worked on this, so it's not just me. A number of MPs from all sides of the House are really keen. But I do want to give credit to our local press. We know that the local BBC, Gloucestershire, and radio, they're all having a bit of a tough time at the moment, but when we are working together for Berkeley and Albury, we had BBC Radio Gloucestershire, we had the BBC Gloucestershire Telebox people, we had Stroud News and Journal, Stroud Times, we had a really experienced journalist who sits on Business West called Ian Mean writing for us, the Mark from Punchline, absolutely brilliant. It's rare to get so much business and media collectively working together, but it's because we have just got such a good opportunity here. We need the investment from government and the pace as well for making progress. My second point that I mentioned, and I won't take up too much more time, is about radiator sludge. It's becoming one of my favourite things to talk about, and that's something I absolutely did not expect to be talking about when I entered this place. But it's basically about energy efficiency. And I just want to draw attention to the significance of water treatment in heating systems, which I've learnt about through a company in my patch called AD International. It's a low-cost intervention, and it's already available, and it would have immediate and sustained positive impacts on energy consumption and carbon reduction. Now, the reason I'm raising this with government is actually, even on estimates day, it's not going to cost much money. At the moment, government has a campaign and websites to show people how they can make their homes energy efficient, but they don't have anything about water treatment facilities and magnetic filtration. Now, I've taken a little gadget into the Secretary of State to give him a live demonstration to show what the magnetic filtration can do to boilers. And it's my understanding that Worcester Bosch boilers are already attaching these things to their boilers, and plumbers up and down the land already know this is good, but the public do not. So I want to see it on the government's gov.uk campaign, because people like AD International really are leading experts in this. They're in Gloucestershire, they're providing jobs for us locally, and we should be using their expertise. But just to say that without effective system testing, cleaning and protection from corrosion, boilers, our radiators, research shows that energy efficiency drops up to 7%, and up to 7% more carbon is emitted. Poor water quality is also the biggest cause of boiler breakdown, reducing the lifespan of a domestic gas boiler by up to 7 years. So radiator sludge sounds like quite funny, but it's actually quite serious, having an impact on everybody's homes. And research of 100,000 homes shows that 42% of homes are not working to the required efficiency and are not protected from the risk of the rising bills and breakdown of their boilers. This applies also to commercial properties as well. So I'd like to see government look a bit more lively on this ahead of next winter, and I'm very happy to assist the Minister with any of that information. Thank you.